In 5G, the core must radically change.
The core is the beating heart and functioning brain of mobile networks, and there's been a great deal of innovation around this critical platform in the past few years as communications network architectures evolve. So I'm talking today with Rob McManus, Senior Product Marketing Manager, Packet Core at Nokia, about this important topic. So Rob, how important is the core platform to network operators? What makes it so critical?
So hi Ray, really great to be here, and thank you for that question. I actually think it's important for three reasons then. So firstly, the core has to be what we call cloud native and infrastructure agnostic by design. And that's important for our customers because they need to deploy it on any cloud. That could be private or public, centralized or distributed. And they need to do that with an optimized performance footprint. And that's what we say the core is done right. Secondly, then, it's about simplifying complexity for our customers using technology, of course. And what we want to do is give customers both an open and programmable core to really create an innovation engine to give them strategic business advantage. And we call that the core being done now. And then thirdly, it's about how the core has to meet stringent reliability and quality requirements. And Nokia can do that with a broad portfolio that we have, and also our experience that's actually underpinned by hundreds of deployments. And that's what we call the core made real.
And what industry trends are driving the need for next-gen core platforms?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ray, because there's a load of trends actually that we see here as being influencers. So I think 5G in itself is really presenting exciting opportunities for service providers. They can deliver new services with some of the most anticipated use cases that you can see here at the top of the picture. So things like connected cars, autonomous vehicles, really immersive experiences with augmented and virtual reality. Things like the tactile internet and critical healthcare monitoring are just a few examples. And there's a number of what I would deem radical technologies that we can apply to the core. And these are going to be really important in realizing these new ways of doing business and to exploit these new market trends. So really it's about creating a more distributed core architecture. We need to do this for increased performance. To actually do that, we can use techniques such as software disaggregation and things called state-efficient network functions. These things are all about the flexibility to deploy the core without limitations. The core will actually converge multi-generations of wireless access with wireline and fixed, and that's going to drastically increase efficiency and also lower footprint. We see things like integrated digital frameworks between vendors like ourselves and our customers. And these are going to be important to create these new digital delivery pipelines for the delivery of software. And then it's about new opportunities with industrial grade private wireless solutions. These are going to provide new applications that will drive the fourth industrial revolution that we've heard about a lot. And they'll also open the door for many more vertical opportunities. So in terms of the opportunities then, but going back to the technology, I've pinpointed one specific technology that I think's created an intersection between telco and IT, and it's virtualization that you can see here on the picture. And both virtualization and the cloud have already been commercially proven to offer a number of benefits to service providers. But what I feel virtualization hasn't done is to be able to deliver on many of the other things that you can see here to the right of that blue marker. For example, extreme automation, I feel, is still lacking. Without extreme automation, service providers are not going to be able to operate their core with sufficient speed. Okay, and unless service providers can tread this new IT path that's shown here by the blue line, they're never going to be able to change the game. They're not going to be able to tap into new markets or beat competitors, and those competitors are changing as well. We see the traditional ones, but new entrants coming into the fray. The other point that I'd like to make here is that you'll notice I haven't put any timeline on on treading this new path. And that's because it's going to be different for different service providers, because we know they're all in different places with regards to their cloud maturity. And we also know that many have already gone down the road to virtualization and are also going cloud native. But there's a lot of customers that have even yet to begin transformation towards the cloud. So it's a real mixed bag.
And can you tell me about Nokia's Universal Adaptive Core and what benefits it brings to network operators?
Yeah, sure, Ray. So that's an interesting term, Universal Adaptive Core then. So let me explain what we mean by that. So it's all about what we think service providers are looking for. And that's an adaptable core that will actually differentiate their business. They're going to need that core to provide sufficient capabilities to satisfy things like long-term growth, but also simplify a ton of complexity as they go about this network transformation in the core. Now, we think a number of technology-based attributes of our core solution are going to be really important to our customers, and we've shown them here in light blue. And some of them I've already briefly mentioned. But it's really these attributes that I think are going to solve three key customer challenges. And they're shown here on the right in the dark blue. So first then, it's the ability to deploy without limitations. And I mentioned it earlier. So that's about deploying in any cloud environment to suit different business and operational requirements. And we know our customers have very different requirements. Secondly, it's about allowing them to profit from opportunities. So that's the ability to deliver diverse but very high-performing services and delivering those services to a range of customers. It's no longer about just consumer mobile broadband. And then thirdly, it's about showing them how to evolve with confidence. So that's about things, for example, utilizing existing access technology investments, but at the same time taking advantage of the latest technologies. 5G is in the mix, of course, but they need to do all of that at their own pace. And again, we know customers are moving at different speeds.
Now, why is it important that a core is infrastructure agnostic?
Yeah, that's a good point, Ray. And it is one of the most important criteria, actually, as I see it, for a lot of customers. So the picture here then, I just want to highlight the following things. So it's about deploying the core as software on any cloud. So again, that's a private, public, hybrid. Could even be a mix on premises. So we need to support all of those deployments. Secondly, then we need to leverage the early access technologies that I mentioned a few moments ago. That includes all of the licensed wireless technologies, so 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. It also includes unlicensed wireless, shared spectrum, and as I've mentioned before, wireline and fixed access. Those will also be integrated into the core going forward. But it's also about deploying the core with what I call any realization. So that's about doing the core in terms of the way our customers want to do and how they want to deploy it. And again, that goes back and it fits to where they are in terms of their cloud maturity. So deploying without limitations is really having the ability to build both a very distributed core that stretches to the edge of the network, but also having what we call a common feature set across all of these different platforms and different deployment options. And again, that's important because we need to make sure that feature parity is maintained, and we also need to make sure there's no loss of application functionality. And again, it's these things that you need to do the core right to gain the advantage.
And are there economic and operational benefits to deploying such a core platform?
Yeah, definitely are, Ray. And obviously our customers wouldn't do it if there weren't any benefits in that regard. So I think there's actually a number of technology criteria then relevant then to profiting from opportunities. And we show them here in blue. So mentioned it at the very beginning, customers really need to get to grips with extreme automation. It's going to be so important to really lower costs and also to increase time to market for new services. Service providers want to become more like their IT counterparts in that regard. It's about taking full advantage of openness, and that's in the context of technology such as the 5G cores, new service-based architecture, but also in the context of developing new partnerships with the wider ecosystem. And then utilizing things like advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. These are important to make sure the core is kept at the most optimal level. So building a flexible core then really depends on embracing these radical new technologies that I've explained. But a lot of these technologies are very scary. They're daunting for our customers. So that's why with Nokia's expertise and our portfolio, our network core portfolio, we really simplify the complexity that comes with these new technologies that I've explained. And it really allows our customers to do the things that they need to do now and allow them to focus on actually what they do best. And what they do best is innovate their business so they can profit from these opportunities as we've been discussing.
Now, service providers are seeking ways to be more innovative in terms of service development and delivery. Does the Universal Adaptive Core meet these requirements?
Yeah, they definitely are, Ray. They really want to be more like their IT counterparts in terms of service development and delivery. And I think what we're saying here is that from Nokia then, we make the core real. And we do that from our broad portfolio. We build it with a collaborative approach to make sure it's actually built from the outside in to solve real customers' problems. I mentioned the common software platform. That's important to give customers the ability to deploy it on any cloud. We also see opportunities for service providers that have an installed base of something called the Broadband Network Gateway, or the BNG. This is a fixed network element. And there's a huge opportunity for these service providers because they're already now looking to integrate these wireline assets into the core. And that's important so they can sort of manage one network rather than disparate networks that they have right now. Service providers also need that assurance that they'll be able to meet their current service levels and deliver the reliability that they're renowned for. But they need to do all of those things whilst evolving the core. And that evolution, if you like, needs to be done with minimal risk, but also with confidence. So they can reinvent themselves, reinvent their business. And we believe we can do all of those things when customers come to us because they'll be working with a trusted partner that really has this vast breadth and depth of experience and also a proven track record. So really to net it out, I'd like to bring back the three key points that I mentioned at the very beginning, actually, of this session. So firstly, then, it's about a cloud native and infrastructure agnostic core, which we've done by design. This gives customers the ability to deploy without limitations. And again, that's on any of the cloud environments that I've mentioned. We give our customers the ability to optimize their footprint. This is the core done right, of course. Secondly, then it's about simplifying complexity with the technology that we give our customers. It's about giving them the ability to leverage an open and programmable core to really create this innovation engine to profit from new opportunities. And that's about strategic business advantage today and then also paving the way for tomorrow. And that's the core done now. And then thirdly, it's about meeting these requirements that our service providers have to deliver. We can do that. We give them this broad portfolio. We give them the experience. We give them the credibility that's underpinned by hundreds of deployments that we have now with regard to the core. And that's the point about evolving with confidence. And that's the core made real, Ray. So hopefully that sums it up.
Yeah, it really does. That's a great overview of the capabilities of the next generation core platform and what Nokia is bringing to the industry. Rob, thanks very much for sharing that with us today.
Much appreciated, Ray. Thank you.